Alright guys, we are starting this war video off a little bit different, mainly because I'm taking my favorite to rank 3 off of a rank 3 gem. So we had a unique situation this war where we couldn't send a full Kingpin or even a Kingpin with Hood or Joe Fixit team on path 4. And we had a Mystic Dispersion champ there, so wanted to send a Defiance champ that could shrug debuffs, probably is the best option. So I obviously thought of Ronan, especially with the team I needed to bring. So we are against Palo. I am bringing in Man-Thing, Nebula, and Ronan. I will have path 4 in section 1, path 3 in section 2, and then a mini-boss on Boss Island. So few complicated things here with using Ronan. You could just use Kingpin for the whole thing and then just look out for Mystic Dispersion against Claire. But here with Ronan, both of these fights pose their own sort of problems or what to look for. For Claire, it's really about paying attention to the immunities kicking in between the bleed and the defiance, and it giving her the tiniest amount of power gain, at least until she gets to 20. But since we won't have any buffs, she'll have no way of getting rid of those 20 without throwing a special 3. So eventually that'll stop. So that's one kind of issue. The other would be the fact that both of these fights on path 4, they will gain a passive fury. And with hers, she has an extra fury because there's no way to shrug all the debuffs at once. So we'll get one off at a time when we get in guard stance and dash back. That's from a medium light. And then we can prevent some of the power gain from the bleeds when we're in Wraith. And that's a medium light dashing back. We're going to stick to those two stances for most of the fight. And when I want to stay in one of them, specifically the Wraith stance, I'm going to end the combo with medium like I do there. And I usually do that when she's below a bar of power so that we don't end up pushing her to special 2 or even getting close to special 3. And after dueling quite a bit, special 1 is just not worth the risk dexing and retaliating and then having her clobber you to death. So plan was to get to 7 cruelties and then get the massive crit passive before dropping this special 3, which will give us a massive fury. And that almost killed her, but it'll take one more little hit, which is a little 15k hit right there at the end. So Ronan did his job. The next challenge was this Kingpin, and the problem this fight posed was giving him too many bleeds and giving him too much rage, and then therefore increasing his combat power rate and risking getting cornered without having a passive stun from the White Magneto pre-fight. So we are going to block bait heavies the entire time, but same thing here. We're going to be between guard and Wraith stance most of the fight. We are going to build the 7 cruelties, and then when we get the big crit passive, hopefully we'll be around special 3. If not, we'll build another one or reactivate it and then drop the special 3. So here he is being a little stubborn to prevent that issue of possibly getting cornered from all the special attacks from the power gain, from the combat power rate. I hit into his block. So going smooth here. I did practice in a duel retaliating the heavy attack and realized Ronan can retaliate it entirely too quick. So there were a couple times I hit him while he was unstoppable. So if it looks like I'm going a tad bit slow, that would be the reason why. Would hate to hit an unstoppable Kingpin in this fight. But you can see it's going pretty smooth. No issues. Once we got that heal block debuff off, it's pretty much free willpower. Whereas against Claire, the bleed damage did quite a bit. And then we got to this special 3 with the crit passive, and he's actually going to knock Kingpin out. So this was a good call. Definitely happy when you have a suggestion and it works out. So we slap on full recoil here. I'm going to take this Apocalypse. We're going to do the cheese you guys have seen me do before with Nebula. It's where we trigger dexterity, we parry, and then do a full combo. You'll get 2 sets of that in before Apocalypse gets to a special 1 or pushing him to a special 1. And then you bait that out and take 2 blocked hits from it. And through that whole rotation, that should be 4 blocked hits, and that should give you 20 shocks. So the next time you do it, you trigger Dex during the special 1. It's Dex, parry combo, rinse and repeat. You should be able to get 2 special 1s off from a rank 4 Apocalypse here before Bubble Shield kicks in, as long as you don't take any extra blocked hits. Should be around 8. And all that means is that you're going to do a couple extra parries after this special 1. So here we are, 9, 10. Now we're going to trigger Dex, and there's the unblockable, so now we don't have to worry about it, and it's back to the cheesy routine. So here we could have just baited out this special attack, but I'm still sticking to that Dex parry combo, and he's being stubborn. And there I just decided to smack him once instead. And right here, we'll end it. So, pretty straightforward. I believe that's the first time I've done this season. Moving on, Nebula also came for this Dragonman on Kites and His Thorns. And I always forget with this node that because I'm running recoil, the bleed is going to actually start me off with 5 charges on this node. And you can tell in the beginning, I completely forget about that. My game plan was to go in and to parry and then build charges and try to quickly remove the power gain. But what you can tell there is that I was like, where's the power gain? And then realized I placed 5 shocks. And then I'm kind of disoriented a little bit. I'm still doing parries, and right about here, I go, all right, we have to actually build shocks back up to shut everything off. Yeah, so we got a little extra power there at the start from doing parries and combos. On top of that, we're not quite at 20, but this 10 will be enough with him being at 50% health. So we parry and throw into this special 2, and it knocks him out. Game over. So, pretty straightforward fight for Nebula. We turn the recoil masteries off, go get max MD, and now it is Man-Thing's turn to not really quickly dominate these next 2 fights, but just be a very safe counter for these next 2, especially with the bans we have. We don't have Apocalypse for this war, so this would probably be a cable fight if Apocalypse went this way. But we decide to use Man-Thing here because it is buffet. We can quickly trigger the global, and we have to be aware that we can't throw a parry heavy. He will go into Mystic Dispersion with the heavy when the Unstoppable gets eaten by buffet. So since we knew about that, we trigger it, we wait for it to end, and then we get going with our special attacks. And because of Mystic Dispersion and all the nodes and some of the power back boosts, this is just a constant special 2, special 1 fest while being mindful of that timer. So I'm actively paying attention to where the Mystic Dispersion timer is and not getting it confused with the buffet. I'm just comparing the 2 timers when they're both up, and whichever one's faster, I'm assuming that's buffet. The other one is Mystic Dispersion. So as long as I see a slow timer, I know that I'm good with buffs. And again, because this node has buffet, it's not as simple as trigger dexterity and then do a parry and land a hit to get it removed. It's just going to trigger it automatically unless I don't have that buff already on me. Unless I already have that buff on me. So, see here, pretty smooth. There's going to be one more right here, Mystic Dispersion trigger. I'm going to catch it coming. I'm actually going to be pinned against the wall when it's going on. But it's fine. I wait till it's over. Here it comes. So I triggered Dexterity. There I triggered the global. Now I'm just going to wait it out. Now I'm going to go at him, throw the special 3, and that'll end it. So pretty safe counter. Helps that Man-Thing kind of negates a bunch of the cruelty damage, or the crit damage. But he does have one more fight this war. So far, pretty entertaining and unusual war for myself. Not that I haven't used Nebula or Man-Thing, but the Ronin rank up, and then the confidence was was awesome. Last fight here, we decide to use Man-Thing for Killmonger instead of Falcon. I mean, the real benefit here is just keeping Killmonger armor broken the entire time and placing poison and just letting him die from the poison. It's not a lot of poison damage, but it's something. So PS1s for both of these fights. I was hoping to get a parry there. Obviously, we didn't land it, so it's just a bunch of blocked hits. So plan B was just to retaliate a heavy. And now that we have thrown special 1 and thrown a heavy attack, we don't have to worry about reverb. Now it's just a special 1, special 2 fest with a heavy attack after special 1s and a combo before throwing special 2. That's about it. Again, we have that safety net where Man-Thing reduces the crit damage if he does happen to get hit. And I do believe, I would say my only mistake this war was getting hit by a special 1 in this fight. But yeah, for the most part, this is pretty straightforward. It's just a special attack fest from Man-Thing and making sure that we bait out Killmonger's special attacks. I don't think a special 3 would do much, to be honest. But yeah, so this was a fun war. Definitely a confident, there's the special one. Definitely a confidence booster war, since took a chance on Ronin and it worked out. Very happy to have him at rank 3 though. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I was always curious about this fight. Now that I know how long it takes, I mean, there's obviously quicker options, feel free. But this is pretty safe, and down he goes. So that ended my war. Fun war for me. Our battle group actually ended up beating out their battle group 7-3. And the reason that looked so good was just because it was kind of a blowout war. So we got kind of lucky, got a break. But as you can tell with us dying 7 times, we are not in our normal range to be competing for top 3. I'm pretty sure we're already out of range for competing for top 3, and we're just trying to compete for top 10. But still, has not been the best season for New Nation. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe, like, follow, and share. And I'll catch you guys at War 6.